Okay, so just a few more comments about this example. Now, in this example, again, it was a simple scenario where both of these momentums were equal to each other, right? So that scenario, we got the angle to be 45 degrees because, the angle turned out to be just the ratios of these two momentums, right? So it was a straightforward scenario. So now let's say that this guy, let's make this guy a bit more massive, right? I'm just gonna do a smart choice. I'm just gonna take this as 3 kilograms multiplied by square root of 3, right? You'll see why I'm doing that. So this is like around like 3. So the square root of 3 is around 1.7. So this is much more heavier, and the product is like 6 multiplied. So for this now, V2 is like 6 multiplied by square root of 3, right? So it's like 6 multiplied by square root of 3 kilograms meters per second. So in this case, what will happen is now tangent theta will be, since it's the ratio of these two products of these two momentums, we get tangent theta. Now m2v2 again is now 6 times square root of 3, right? So we get tangent theta. So we get tangent theta equals 6 times square root of 3 divided by 6. So we get square root of 3, which means that theta is tan inverse of square root of 3, which is 60 degrees. So now the angle turns out to be 60 degrees, right? Which would mean what? So let's again go back to vectors, right? So P1 is the same size, right? So this is where we added them as vectors, right? This is that page. So P1, I try, you can see that I try to make sure that their sizes are similar, right? Because their magnitudes are similar. So what will happen now is P2 is going to be a bigger vector, right? So let's see what will happen now. P2 is going to be a square root of 3 multiplier, right? So it's quite big. Now, which means that the resultant of these two is now going to be like, if this is like that. So that's your initial and, as I said, final momentum also. This angle is now 60 degrees, right? So you can see that if I choose to multiply this with square root of 3, what would happen is this vector will be bigger, right? Which would mean that, so you can see that you can check that the angle turns out to be 30 degrees. So depending on which one is bigger. So in other words, this blob will now move like in this direction, right? Like somewhere over here, because now this guy is heavier, so it has a bigger y component, so it's going to bend towards the y-axis. So if this guy is heavier, it's going to bend towards the x-axis, depending on the situation, right? So so that's it. Yeah, that's the comment I wanted to make about this example. If you have any questions, post them in the comments. Thank you. Thanks for watching. Bye.